This is the easiest and most technologically advanced way I thought that I could do this without changing my camera position. With lighting I don't have. Do you know how much sunlight you get in Washington State? It's not much. And we're not just doing bingo. We're doing 3 sets of bingo that go from regular bingo to hard to ultra hard mode. And still the goal is to get bingo. And I firmly believe that it's possible for us to get there. I made these bingo charts, but I don't have everything memorized. So the goal here is just to delete the sticky notes one by one and then explain my reasoning. This is really just flow of consciousness. This is not scripted. This is just me saying, this is what I think the plot of Fourth Wing 4 is going to be. Now, do I think that all of these things will be in it? Kind of, yes. Like, I genuinely think that all of these things are possible. There is a world where 95% of what I'm about to say happens. And I tried to make it in like degrees of delusion. I just had to get it out there because I was thinking to myself, I just have too much information in my head and I need to get it out. What is underneath the free space might be easy to predict. So I'm just gonna delete it. But the statement, well fucking aware, which is a statement that I grew so tired of hearing in Iron Flame and Onyx Storm, where I felt like I heard this statement said over and over, the well fucking aware of it all. Let's go for diagonal bingo first. I'm going to start at the 4 corners because maybe it'll look like symmetrical when I do it. Espionage to double agent. I thought in Onyx Storm it would be a legitimately good plot line because the way that Onyx Storm starts is that the Venin infiltrate Basgiath, and for a smidge of time I thought that there was going to be some sort of like espionage double agent thing going on because Xaden hasn't fully become a Venin yet, so he's kind of on this like teetering between positions between being normal and being Venin. So I thought that maybe there was going to be a little bit of a double agent where he pretends to be more further along in his evilness than he actually is, and then it becomes this like big giant question over how evil is he actually if he's pretending. And is he pretending? Is he not? I just thought that there would be more espionage. So that's why I think in book 4 there will be espionage or double agenting, especially because the very end of Onyx Storm is that Violet wakes up and she has been asleep for God knows how long, and she is now married to Xaden. So I think that it's going to be more of a behind enemy lines story. So that's why I think we're getting like espionage double agent. Amnesia. This one should be another easy one. I think this is going to be really, really easy. So because Violet wakes up at the end of Onyx Storm and she has very little, if no, memory as to what happened, and she wakes up as Xaden's wife, I'm wondering if there's going to be a mix of amnesia. I had 2 squares on this actually where I said physical amnesia or chemical amnesia. And what I mean by both of those things is that physical amnesia means that Violet physically cannot remember what happened to her. Like it's just gone. Whether it's through trauma or something happened to her, she was hit on the head, something happened that she is experiencing physical amnesia. And what I mean by chemical amnesia is that somebody is making her forget something. So I was wondering if there was going to be any sort of like memory issues going into the 4th book, because it sounded kind of like what we were going with at the very end with Violet waking up and having no memory as to how she got there and her being married to Xaden. This feels very believable. 3rd corner. This one definitely has layers, and I'm going to try to go over it as quickly as possible. I said in my Onyx Storm review, and I stand by what I said, mind you, that we know/suspect that Rebecca Yarros is a Zionist in real life. That all evidence points towards the fact that she is a Zionist, and that has caused a lot of people to not support her, me included. I think you should fully pirate all of her work if you actually want to read her books. So Rebecca Yarros being a Zionist, I said that Onyx Storm is thinly veiled Zionist propaganda, and I could just insert the clip here because I know I said it better here. Basgiath is known for hiding information from its people, censoring information, lying to them about the existence of people other than them, systematically locking the Flyers and the Griffins out of their protections because although they are very similar to each other, there is something that they very specifically differ on that they just don't agree with. And I gotta be honest, when I Google it, even Reddit doesn't seem to understand the difference and why they hate each other, other than the fact that they're not from the same area. They're Navarians and Paromish. Like, is that the main thing? The sudden link that Violet was supposedly about to be given to the priestesses, so there's an introduction of religious extremism, but it's unclear how this is connected to the Venin at this point, whether religious extremism causes people to siphon power, and that allegory, plain as day. Anyway, please pirate things. Please use your library. Are we the baddies? This is a good one. This is a really, really good one because I wondered if, because of the griffins in book 3 and sort of book 2, that we got more information of the other people that are outside of Basgiath, and you sort of learned that the Griffin Riders are not actually your enemies. They're more or less like your allies. At least at this point in book 3, the Griffin Riders have become our begrudging allies of sorts. So I thought that this was a natural progression of that. The "are we the baddies" thorough line of thought. Let's just go straight down the middle. Dane sacrifices himself. This is a personal wish. I don't know what more there is to say. I think that it is entirely possible for Dane to sacrifice himself because at this point, I don't really fucking know why he's still like relevant in book 3. Like he's the love interest in book 1, and then he betrays Violet in book 1, and then for whatever reason he's on the mission in book 3. Like the sequence of events that has happened with Dane still being somehow important to the plot. Like he's on the mission in book 3 because of the fact that he is multilingual, but his dad is still like a bad guy. So I'm so confused as to why Dane is still here. I think that he should die, but I think that he should sacrifice himself. And it's one of those things where it's like, oh no, he sacrificed himself. Anyway, going again straight down, Broccoli the cat cameo. I feel very strongly about this. This is something I feel very, very strongly about this personally. I think that if I don't have a Broccoli the cat cameo, I'm going to be very, very upset. Taryn or Sigale death. So if a dragon dies, their rider dies, right? So Violet has 2 dragons, so she can't die twice. So if one of her dragons dies, she can't half die either. So maybe it's a roll of the dice or the luck of the draw. At least if one of the dragons dies, that Violet might die, or maybe she has a stronger bond to one dragon and that dragon is not the one that died. So I'm thinking one of 2 things is going to happen. Either Taryn is going to die and Violet's going to have this moment of, oh my god, I'm going to shrivel and die and turn to dust right now, and then she doesn't because she's the main character, she's not going to die. Or Sigale dying because of Xaden becoming a venom and everything, and there have been instances of people who have drained the life force from their dragons and killed them on purpose so that they could absorb all of their power. So I think that if we're going towards the whole like Xaden becoming more evil thing, that's just I keep saying natural sequence of events, but I think that is a possibility of what could happen. Either Taryn's gonna die and then Violet's going to survive, or Sigale is going to die because Xaden kills her on purpose. Love is the cure. Now, this is more of a book 5 prediction, that the whole like end of it all is that love is the cure. And I compared this to the Vine. Is this allowed? That's kind of how I've compared a lot of Xaden and Violet's personal interactions as well, is that we are unwilling participants and we are viewing this with eyes that we don't want to see. But I have a prediction in my head that's more for book 5, that the whole way to cure a venom is with love, because love is the cure is just a very stereotypical cliche at this point. Here we go. Venom Violet. Now, some people might consider this to be controversial, and I don't know if this is going to be like as a consequence of the espionage to double agent. Like, I didn't necessarily organize these in such a way that they would naturally create a bingo, but I did sort of try to put the things that looked close together. So Ven and Violet kind of goes in connection to the double agent thing, that she might have to become a venom in order to complete the mission, or at least to go deeper in behind enemy lines, and then she herself has to go through this identity crisis that maybe love is the cure for. But this is not outside of the realm of possibility, that instead of treating being venom as like this end-all be-all punishment, it could be something that you can come back from or that you can be cured of. And what better way to show that than to have your main character go through that? Jesus Christ, the type is a little bit small, but it says somebody dies an avoidable death and Violet blames herself for the rest of the book. I don't think that needs any more explanation. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Time travel. This is connected to Andarna's power because she has the whole stopping time power. So why can't we time travel? Lost memories. This is in connection to amnesia. So maybe I kind of did like organize these on purpose, because if you look this way, you got amnesia, time travel, of course the bonus square, lost memories, and are we the baddies? This is the like book 4 to book 5. Like Violet loses her memories, and so they have to go back in time, and she recovers all of these lost memories, and then and they reevaluate like their position in time. Are we the baddies? Have we been the baddies all along? Like that to me seems like a very like convincing plot thread, right? So maybe I did organize these kind of on purpose. Now that we've got the diagonals out of the way, let's fill out the rest of bingo. We'll just keep going from across the rows. Dumb love triangle. I don't know what more there is to say, because we did get introduced to Violet's ex-boyfriend or something. Holden was his name, or I don't know. Like there was a third love interest introduced. Not that Dane is still considered a love interest, but I was wondering why him still being around was relevant when I thought maybe there's a return of the love triangle with like tension between Violet and Xaden. Side character gay arc. This is a gripe that is so specific because Rhiannon is allegedly our bi representation. And then who's gay? Somebody is gay. I think it's Brennan, where they were fated gays and the boyfriend died. So the only thing that we've had so far with gays in the state of the gays in this universe is that we've had a gay couple of two men, and one of them is dead before he even gets on page. And then there's our bisexual representation has been a slut and absent. And I say that affectionately. I don't really know. So I thought that maybe like another side character having a gay arc is not outside of the realm of possibility because the gays are buried and also not on page. Going into the IRO, we have uncomfy and long torture scene. Yeah. This one's definitely gonna happen. Like I have full faith that there's going to be a super uncomfortable and super long for no reason torture scene. Surprise pregnancy. You know I had to add this. You know I had to put this here. This is not outside of the realm of possibility. This is romantasy after all. This is perhaps a book 5 prediction. I think I said in my Onyx Storm review, and this is why this is here. I said in my Onyx Storm review that the end of book 4 reveal was going to be Violet being pregnant, because if the third book is Violet is married to Xaden, what could be the next possible ending of the penultimate book before we go into the series finale, right? So I think that the end of book 4 is that Violet will be pregnant. And then that's going to be the big, massive final cliffhanger that we get left on. Xaden kills Mira or Brennan. This is deeper into the whole Xaden is becoming more evil arc, because there has to be other things that he does that break him and Violet being apart, because they already are having so many problems with Xaden being Venom. Like Xaden has to get more evil. We're only in book 3 or about to go into book 4. There's 2 books left. Xaden has to do more evil shit. So now that we have the knowledge that Brennan is back from the dead, I think that he will be killed. Maybe, actually, no, I think I believe that Mira will die and Brennan will live, because Mira's been along longer. I think that it is too stereotypical for a character to come back from the dead and then get killed off. So I think that it'll be Mira. Rhiannon sidelined. This one is just easy. I could have put this in the middle, and I think that's why it's right next to the middle square. She's probably gonna get sidelined because she was sidelined for all of Onyx Storm. Betrayal to Xaden's side. This one's juicy. So I think that there's also a possibility in book 4 for somebody that is Xaden's friend, probably like Garrick or something, that he betrays the main cast to go to Xaden's side. Or I don't want to say that it will be Garrick. I'm just making that as an example. But anybody who is connected to Xaden more closely than Violet, I think that it is possible that they will betray the main cast to go join Xaden's side. A whole like, we were the baddies and the Venom are right all along, I have to go follow my friend type of situation. Theophany related to Violet. This one, I think, is going to be a plot twist that happens, because Theophany is giving us a lot of information that she thinks that she knows more than we do on the subject. Like, she keeps dangling this information in front of our faces, like, I know more than you. And I think it is going to be a reveal that she is related to Violet in some way, whether that be familial or they have a secret past that Violet doesn't remember because of amnesia. Look, it's connected to the amnesia. Next is Dad was alive all along. This one is another twist. This is another twist I think is going to happen, because, I mean, we already found out that Brennan was secretly alive the whole time. Like, how weird would it be if, like, Dad was alive the whole time too? Like, maybe it's just me because my dad is dead. I've only mentioned it like 7 times, but I think that, you know, dad being secretly alive or a parent secretly being alive the whole time, I think that's a legitimately good twist. Secret identity. This one goes in line with Theophany related to Violet, because I see, maybe I did arrange this shit on purpose, because secret identity goes along with lost memories and the relation to Violet thing. That Violet might not remember something about herself. There was this like little tidbits of information we were getting in Onyx Storm about the temple, and there were priestesses connected to a temple, and the reason why Violet sort of has silver hair is because the priestesses have silver hair, and Violet only having partial silver hair might indicate something like she was supposed to go through a test and only got halfway through, or she was only halfway confirmed to this temple, and Theophany is going to give us the true information and the true story. So like this goes in line with the lost memories, and secret identity goes along with that. All right, we got 2 left on original bingo. We have dream walking. This one, now that we don't have Andarna in going into book 4, Andarna kind of left to go be a real dragon, and she disconnected herself from Violet. I think that we're going to get more information into both time travel and dream walking. I think would be a natural sequence of events as far as Andarna's power, because we really don't know everything that she can do, and we don't know everything that her type of dragon can do. A last one is real enemy is not the Venom. Just like the real enemy is not the Griffin Riders, I think that the real enemy is not the Venom. They could be. I don't know. This is the normal bingo that we're going into book 4 with. You could take a screenshot of this, or I'll post it somewhere online, but you take a screenshot of this. This is original bingo for 4th Wing 4. Ready? Now we're going to get silly with it. Welcome to chaos. This is me getting silly, because I kept thinking to myself, there was more I wanted to say. There was more I wanted to go into, but they started getting more ultra specific, and I was like, no, like this has to go into a different type of bingo. So I made 2 more bingos that we're going to talk about, and they get increasingly more specific, and you can take these too, like be my guest, but this is just me being fucking silly. We're gonna take out the free space first. At least 3 sex scenes. What is this, baby's first romantasy? If we don't get 3 heavily scripted from start to finished sex scenes, what is this? I think there has to be 1 sex scene per which one in order of the book there is. So I think there should be at least 4, but I feel like 3 is a good number to start with. Starting with diagonal bingo, Jasenia is seen outside of the library. This is a personal gripe I have with this series, is that Jasenia is my favorite character because she's the smartest one. Realistically, she's the one who's always in the library. She's the one they consult when they need information. It would be like a true turning point in the book when Jasenia is not only on page but seen outside of the library. This is where it comes from, Theophany being Violet's aunt, because I could not help but notice that in Onyx Storm, Theophany and Violet's mom, whose name I can't remember, they had very similar powers. It was almost like they were mirrors of each other. And so I was thinking to myself that this is here on purpose. Like, this is not an accident. And with Violet possibly being in connection to these like temple priestesses, and that's why her hair is only half silver. And so I think that there's a connection here to the main villain, that Violet's going to find out that she is related to them. And I think that her being Theophany's niece is probably the most likely thing to happen. Next, we have Violet bonds to a 3rd dragon. This one is fucking silly, because if she could bond to a 2nd one, like, the rules are out the window. She can totally bond to a 3rd dragon. Who is stopping her? Secret twin reveal. This one is kind of silly, but I think it is partially believable. That somebody is going to be a secret twin, or there's like something going on. Like, I thought maybe like Theophany was not just Violet's aunt, but her mom's twin, or like a fraternal twin of some sort. Like, there was something going on here. So I thought maybe there would be a secret twin reveal, or maybe Theophany is going to reveal that she has Violet's twin inside the temple, and then Violet is confronted with the fact that she has a sister she didn't know about, and then she has this like identity crisis. You see where I'm going? You see where I'm going with this? Like, I did put a decent amount of thoughts into this. realistically, I put more thought into this than somebody who would probably say that they hate a book and then they just stop thinking about it. Me, I've invested too much time. Now I have to share this shit with you. Now I have to let you inside of my brain. Dad is Venom. This is in connection to, I think Dad might be secretly alive. I think Dad might secretly be Venom, and that's why he's like gone or dead or something. I think that if there is a possibility that Dad is alive, there is a possibility Dad is evil. Dane gets a girlfriend. This one is just fucking silly. Not only do I despise the fact that Dane is like on page right now. Like, I legitimately think like we should just throw him off a cliff. But I think it's truly hard mode if Dane gets a girlfriend, because how are we going to redeem him? Like, are we going to redeem him at all? Are we going to redeem him enough that, you know, somebody has to love him? Somebody has to fall in love with Dane, right? Is he just going to be aromantic for the rest of the book series? Be like, oh, he's not going to be with Violet, so he's not going to be with anybody else. Like, if he's going to be here, he's going to be here for a reason, whether it's to be like sacrifice fodder or like he's going to get a girlfriend of some sort. And then Violet's going to be torn with this, like, oh man, like the guy I used to like now has a girlfriend. I don't know how I feel about that. It's going to be stupid and it's going to be dumb. And I don't know, maybe Dane will get a girlfriend and then Dane will die. And then Violet and Dane's girlfriend will become friends. Who knows? Fucking in a war camp. Oh my God, I'm fucking losing it. Fucking in a war camp. This should have been on the first bingo. Like, this should have been on the first bingo. No, if we don't get like one uncomfortable sex scene where if we take ourselves out of it, we think to ourselves like somebody could be hearing us right now, or like, you know, in the other 3 books, their sex scenes are always accompanied by thunder and lightning, and so everybody has to know that Xaden and Violet are banging it out. I'm just going to believe for the rest of my life that in any romantasy that has a war or anything like that where they have to travel around, like, there has to be a fucking in a war camp. Like, it's so iconic at this point. Like it or not, Sarah J. Maas, like, you invented a trope that is so legitimately funny that I think that it needs to be in every romantasy that has a war. And the last one on hard mode, I don't even remember what this is. Rhiannon is there. Yeah, this is a hard one. This one is difficult because I don't think that this is gonna happen. Like, I put it between 2 things that you could talk yourself into believing could happen, but this is not going to be bingo. This, I swear this is not going to be bingo. This is hard mode bingo. There's one more after this. It gets more unhinged than this. So take a screenshot and we're going to keep going. We have reached peak silliness. This is the pinnacle of silliness. I remember what one of these squares is. I just don't remember where it is. So we're just going to start with the free space. Okay, so the one I remembered is the one in the free space. This is ultra hard mode, right? Like, this is not me believing that Dane will survive. I think Dane is going to die. Like, by the end of book 4 or the end of book 5, Dane is going to die 100%. So if he survives and he makes it to the end of not just book 4 specifically, but also to the end of the series, I'll be extremely shocked. I don't think this is going to happen. But if it does happen, it's in the middle of the ultra hard mode. We'll start with the top corner. There's a twin war college we never knew about. Rick Riordan, When I Catch You. Like, this is not a reference to, but this is kind of in relation to not just Percy Jackson, but the Heroes of Olympus, where Percy Jackson is about the Greek summer camp, and the Heroes of Olympus is about the Roman summer camp, because, of course, the Greek and the Roman gods exist at the same time because they're just each other, but with a dual personality. So I thought that maybe it would be kind of funny if there was a twin war college that we never knew about. Like, going even further than the Griffin Riders aren't our enemy, to maybe the Venom aren't the real enemy, to there is a third person involved, a third person other than the Basgiath War College. There's a third entity involved here that I think it just gets like progressively more unhinged. Next corner is Kat, Imogen, and Garrick all survive. This one's also kind of silly because I think that if any of them die, it'll probably be Kat. I think because she's the one that, I don't know. No, she's not the one that we're positioned to like the most, but she gets a lot more information in book 3 about, like, she gets a boyfriend, I think. And it's like, oh, Kat is Xaden's ex-girlfriend, and now Kat has a new boyfriend. And that's like the most information we got from Onyx Storm. So I was wondering if there was going to be a potential to where she becomes like not the secondary female character, but so we just like her so much, and then she's gonna die. So I think that having all three of these secondary characters survive is pretty unrealistic. Hence why it's in ultra hard mode. Next, I have Xaden sacrifices himself. This one would be legitimately funny. I would fucking laugh. If Xaden sacrificed himself, I would fucking laugh. Now, it is still valid. This is still valid if Xaden sacrifices himself and then he is reborn somehow. So whether that sacrifice is literal or almost sort of literal or semi-figurative, it still counts. It still counts if like Xaden sacrifices something about himself that is not his dragon, because that's entirely separate. But ultimately, I think it is unrealistic to think that our love interest is going to die, unless we're doing this like ultra long-winded switcheroo between Xaden and Dane, or Xaden and somebody else, that Violet is not going to end up with Xaden in the end, and it's kind of like a Court of Thorns and Roses situation where you have Tamlin in book 1 and then Rhysand in the next books onward. So unless there's like something about Violet not ending up with Xaden in the end for some reason, like that would be the only thing that would make me think that Xaden sacrificing himself would be a legitimate thing that could happen. Final corner is Terran was the ruler of the Empyrean the entire time. Now, I don't remember. I just had to Google because I thought to myself, is Terran the ruler of the Empyrean? And he's not. It's this other dragon that Rebecca Yarros has gentrified the Gaelic language for. Tippy top, we have sex scene on Dragonback, or in midair. I don't mean to like reference A Court of Thorns and Roses that much, but this is another one that's inspired by A Court of Thorns and Roses, because there's the whole like Feyre and Rhysand having sex in the sky scene. So I thought that maybe perhaps Rebecca Yarros would do the exact same thing with Xaden and Violet, except they're on Dragonback. So this is just fucking silly. The entire story took place in the past. Rebecca Yarros, if you do this, I will forgive some of the things you've done. A few. I will forgive half of the things that you have done. If this ends up being the entire story taking place in the past situation, then the story might be redeemable, and I'll explain why. I love the idea of revisionism or revisionist history, in that what we've been told about history is not actually what happened. This happened in House of the Dragon, with the fact that the book is written by people who didn't witness any of the events, and then the show House of the Dragon is from the perspective of the people that the events were written about. So it's kind of a difference in narration, in it being an unreliable narration, that there are things that happen that we can't really be sure because the people who wrote about it after the fact weren't present. So I think about this because of all of the texts at the beginning of the chapters that we get, that's references to the codex or the whatever, and then Jesinia being a character that's still here, and they keep going to her and asking her for information about the past or the government or anything. Like, I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility that this is a story that we're being told after the fact. And whether or not at the end we kind of get this snippet of like, this is what the books remember about these events, and these are the events that we just told to you that were true. So whether the entirety of the books that we're reading right now are what happened, and then at the end we find out that what was remembered about these books, or at least the events of these books, is not actually what was written down. So if this happens again, like, I will forgive half of what Rebecca Yarros has done. So like, I think that's good. I think it would be good. We've got 2 left in ultra hard mode bingo. Everyone sacrifices their signets to save the world. I think this one is possible. Like, this is not going to be a book 4, but perhaps a book 5 prediction, where everyone has to sacrifice their signets to save the world. That in the end, the power to connect with these dragons is going to be so powerful that they have to give it up in order to go back to semi-normal life, or at least to remove that power out of the hands of people that might abuse it. Because as we could see, this is not a perfect system, because people who abuse their dragons or kill them become venom. So how do you prevent more venom from happening? Is that you have to stop bonding with dragons. So I think that sacrificing their signets and then being unable to communicate with dragons or have this relationship with dragons that they do. I think that this is a very possible thing that could happen. So yeah, it's on ultra hard mode bingo, but I legitimately think that it's possible. And last one on ultra hard mode bingo, I don't remember what this is. I'm gonna be so for real. I don't remember. Rhiannon is not killed for I don't want to say that Rebecca Yarros is gonna bury her gaze further. Oh god, it's not that I think that Rhiannon is going to get killed for shock value. It's just I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility, because, and I keep saying that. I keep saying realm of possibility. If anybody gets killed and it's like another tragedy on top of everything that they've got going on, there's another tragedy on top of something, or Violet has to process another death that hits her very hard. Naturally, I think the person that would hit her the hardest next would be Rhiannon. So I think that's why I have it in ultra hard mode, that Rhiannon will essentially live to the end. I think that it is probably, if not possible, that Rhiannon will get killed for shock value. And I hate to say that. Okay, for the last time, take your screenshot. This is the state of affairs. Did you think I was done? Did you think that I would end there? No. I also made a drinking game. You're welcome. Here I have a drinking game for you for Fourth Wing 4. I have it divided into 3 categories. Take 1 sip, take a shot, and drain your glass. Under take 1 sip, if you hear the mention of the word onyx, not that I think it's going to be mentioned a lot, it's just that's the color that Violet keeps referring to Xaden's eyes being the color of. So color onyx. Violet recounts a plot beat from a past book that we already knew. This happens a lot in certain sequels by certain authors, where they just regurgitate everything that we already know that has already happened. So Violet recounts a plot beat. It is next one. Taryn says Silver One. This one's a little bit dangerous. Andarna is described as a sassy teenager, or is described as like some sort of teenage girl adage. Whether she is sassy or she's sarcastic or she has an attitude, like something about Andarna. Now, she's not currently in the books right now. I don't actually know. I don't even remember. Did she come back at the end of Onyx Storm? Did I like hallucinate that or something? But she's not going to stay off page forever, even if she's not off page now. I don't remember anymore, but Andarna being described in that way. Take a sip. Violet eye fucks Xaden for several paragraphs. In one where she might mention his eyes being the color of onyx, might or might not be in the same paragraph, but basically these are all these, you take a sip. Just take a sip through your straw. Now take a shot every time that it is mentioned that Rhiannon likes girls, or Rhiannon has like someone staying in her room, or there's a comment being made about Rhiannon having several girlfriends. Like Rhiannon doing anything gay. Right? Like at any point we are reminded that Rhiannon is bisexual, but specifically that she likes girls, but she's still bisexual. So there is a possibility she ends up with a man or whatever. Jasenia is seen on page. I just want to get drunk at this point. Like I just want to see my girl Jasenia on page at this point. Somebody uses their signet to use a pen or unlock the door. This one is just silly because for some fucking reason their signets are used to use fountain pens and open doors. The door thing makes sense, actually. The pens does not make sense. A battle where nobody dies. I just want you to get drunk. Not just taking a sip or taking a shot, but if you have a glass instead of a shot, I want you to drain your glass every time Violet brings up Liam and the fact that he died. Anytime Liam gets brought up, I just want you to drain your glass. On page sex scene. There's only going to be so many of these. So really, like, I just want you to get drunk, but also this isn't like something that could happen repeatedly. I don't know. Rebecca might surprise us all. She might give us 7 sex scenes for all I know. And then of course I want you to drain your glass if Broccoli the cat is mentioned. I am so heavily invested in Broccoli the cat. I can't believe I just thought of this. I'm so fucking smart. I think that if someone were to make like a crochet project that was a cat, but it had like broccoli motifs on it, I think that you could sell that as like fan merch and I would probably buy one. We are still not done because I will be now predicting the title. The naming convention has to be 2 words because we've got Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and Onyx Storm. Now, the first word is a color or a hue of some sort because their Fourth Wing is kind of the outlier, but iron and onyx being stones or at least being minerals of some sort. And then I didn't want to use the word wing, flame, or storm. Those were words I wanted to completely eradicate from the possibility. But also we have this flow of colors here where we have the yellow bleed into orange, into black, and then black into silver. So the fourth book is going to be silver bleeding into another color, and then the fifth book is going to be that color that the fourth book ends on. So I think that the fourth book is going to be silver, and then at the bottom it's going to be like violet or purple of some sort of amethyst. So that just makes the most sense. And then book 5 is going to be violet or amethyst or something to that theming, right? Now I'm just making lists, which I'm very good at, by the way. But if book 4 is Violet being married to Xaden, the odds of the story referencing a throne or a crown or a reign, this is a very likely naming convention that we could possibly find. So this is where I just listed out like the possibilities of, first word, second word. I made several charts where I basically just did one where it was just everything I could think of, and then the second round was everything that I thought was likely from the first list, and then I just went from there. So go ahead and pause, take a peruse. These are the combinations of things that I think could possibly be in the title, and whether or not I continue with believing that these are believable. If the title of the fourth book comes from anywhere in this list right here, this initial list, I will still consider myself to be right. And maybe that's a toxic trait of mine, that I think that even if I'm a little bit right, I am all the way right. But it's entirely possible that the title of the fourth book is in this list right here. This is it, folks. Any of the words on the right, empire, throne, reign, vow or vows, or dream, is probably in the most likely 5 or 6 to come out of the prediction pile. I really think that something dream is a good one, whether that be shadow dream or silver dream, I think is a good one. Silver empire is stupid. It is. But shadow empire is okay. Did I cross-reference Goodreads to see if these were already titles of books? No. Shadow empire or shadows empire. See, now I'm thinking empire is not it, because silver empire is really dumb. Silver throne is okay. Shadow throne is okay. Shadow reign, that one's a good one. Silver reign, shadow vow or shadow vows, that's a good one, or silver vow or vows. But I personally have a vested interest in something dream being the title, because there's going to be a lot of theming around Andarna and her power of time travel, but also I believe it is possible she will have the additional power of dream walking. I'm going to come out of the bingo to talk about this. So I have a vested interest in the title of the book having the word dream in it, because I think that it is extremely possible for the exploration of Andarna's power of dream walking. If I think about it in my head, if I put all of these tropes together, all of these guesses together, this is what I think is possible to happen. So at the end of book 3, at the end of Onyx Storm, Violet wakes up after an indiscriminate amount of time, and she is married to Xaden. There's going to be some mix of events with amnesia, where Violet doesn't remember something and she has to remember something, so she may have a lost memory. She might have to play double agent and be able to send information out. But if she's restricted from communication, how do you send information out? So in order for her to communicate with the outside world, there's only a few ways that she could do that, because going to the outside world is not going to be possible. So there's not going to be anything physical. So it is possible she could get a written message to them, but I think it is more possible if Andarna's power of dream walking is revealed to us, and Andarna goes into Violet's dreams and is able to communicate with her through dreams. And it's going to be like a steady, like, it's not going to happen the first time situation where Violet's going to have a strange dream about somebody trying to contact her, and then when she opens her mind enough, it's Andarna, her dragon that she left behind, that Andarna is contacting her about where she is, what's going on, and then Violet is able to communicate through dreams about what is happening behind enemy lines. So that's where the whole espionage double agent thing comes in. But I also think it plays into the fact that there is a possibility that Violet doesn't remember what happened, or Violet is struggling to remember something. So that's why I think that dream is going to be a word used in the title of the fourth book. I think it is very possible for Shadow Dream or Silver Dream is probably my top favorite option. But anything with dream at the end, I will consider a win. Even if I go back, and I go back to the first spreadsheet, where I just think that the second word is just dream. The second word is just dream. Amethyst dream is not very good. Emerald dream, that's World of Warcraft, babe. That's not going to be a thing. Ash dream, Smoke dream, dusk dream, shade. No, I was right. Silver dream or shadow dream is probably the most likely one. I thought about filming this video as soon as I was done with my Onyx Storm review. Like, this is how long this idea has been marinating in my brain, but for whatever reason, I couldn't really decide on how to film it, or I couldn't decide on how to share this idea with you all, because I was like, I would love to, point at the bingo board on the wall or have a whiteboard, but I don't have any of those things. So essentially showing you in a PowerPoint presentation is probably the best way and the easiest way I could have shared this information, because I can't not share it. I can't not tell you. I kind of wanted to buy dragon wings for this video, but that's not gonna happen. Like, why would I buy dragon wings for a one-time video? I don't have a budget. This is just me yapping. Before I leave you, I will reference some of my first original thoughts about this, because I never turned these into bingo cards, or at the very least, this is an extension of my thoughts after the fact. This isn't necessarily part of bingo. These are just thoughts that birthed the bingo card. Violet wields lightning so hard that it generates a massive storm, and she almost turns venom before being pulled back from the brink. I think that can be connected to Theophany being her mom's twin, or at least being her aunt in some way, that Violet wielding lightning is also connected to her mom's storm power. I said characters I believe at most risk of death are Dane, sacrifice, Imogen, sacrifice, Garrick, Xaden's best friend, so a shock death that could wake him up so he could be killed on purpose, Rydok, which is everyone's darling, and he dies in battle. I said Kat is too important because she's royalty, but Bodhi is also at risk. The side character gay arc, I said that bonus points if it's Imogen or Kat, but super bonus points if it's Kimogen. Like, if there's like a side character lesbian arc, I would really enjoy that. Memory and dreams will play a huge part in this book. Will Violet remember her time at the temple? Will it tie her to one of the Venin? Will it lead us to the answer as to what the Venin are and why? What is the Venin's endgame here? If time, memory, and dreams are massive roles in the story, will they target Andarna somehow? Try to harness her power for their own use? Does this create a time loop or answer the question as to why Andarna is the only one of her kind, as in another experiment in the past like this caused the extinction of the Irids? And then the question I will leave you with, that is not connected to bingo, but it's still like a question I think is valid to answer. Are the Irids actually gone? Or are they in a different time? Or are they in a dream? See, dream is just the best option for the second word. Like, it's gonna be something dream. And I really think it's gonna be silver dream or shadow dream. Okay, that's it. I have been kind of kicking myself for not getting this out sooner, because I don't want Rebecca Yarros to release information about the next book before I'm able to tell you about my thoughts. So I will get this video out reasonably soon. It'll probably be the first video in June as I try to get this out to you at a reasonable time. I know Rebecca has a new book that's coming out, or at least it just came out, and it's a contemporary romance. She has said she's taking a break from releasing more info about Fourth Wing 4 and 5. I personally believe that the next book will be released in early 2027. We will get more information about this at the end of this year. Probably she'll release the contemporary romance that she's releasing right now, and then she's going to take like a 5 to 6 month break from making any sort of announcements, and then we'll probably get more information towards the end of the year. That's just another prediction, baby. Like, that's just me like thinking with my brain as to what I think this woman's going to do. Before I truly let you go, I don't want you to think that I support this woman or that I like this woman. This is just a silly video idea that I came up with because I liked the first book in this series, and I wanted to give it a shot, and it became so overwhelmingly popular online that it was kind of inescapable. I did give into the hype, and I did read it, and I do agree that Rebecca Yarros is a bad person. I do think she's a Zionist. I do think these books are veiled Zionist propaganda, and I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to purchase it in any way, shape, or form. Anyways, that is all from me. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you got to the end of this video, if you'd like to find me anywhere else, you could find me on Twitter, and also I started posting on TikTok again, so you can find me there. Remember to drink water and be nice to each other and exude kindness and empathy with everything that you do, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!